Hello everyone, welcome back to Technical Tuesday. Today's video is going to be on nail art molds and specifically 3D Charm nail art molds. And there are many different ways you can use these. You can use them with polygel, you can use them with solid hard gel, sculpting gel, which is a very putty-like gel meant for 3D art. You can use regular like cream-based gels, gel polish, and acrylic. Now, I don't recommend trying to do dip method. I don't think that would likely ruin your mold. And careful with acrylic. Homemade colored acrylics can also potentially ruin your mold. I know from personal experience. When I was using my own homemade colored acrylics, that it ruined my mold that I had. One of my favorite molds that I had, and had to hunt really hard to find a replacement one. It was not easy to do. And they were originally from Maniology back when they actually sold them, and they were still Bundle Monster. In fact, this is one of those molds that I still have from those times, and this is another one from those times. They are actually pretty good quality molds, but my acrylic had actually destroyed one of them. So, this one came with my solid gel, my solid hard gel. So I am curious to see how this one works because I haven't actually tested this specific one yet, and like how well it does. But when you're using gel, you always want to use a lamp, otherwise it's not going to become solid, including solid gel of these kinds. To make them hard, you gotta cure them in a lamp. So, pull my lamp out. Set it up. So, we're gonna go over the easier, the full methods here. And I'm gonna get myself a tool to scoop and some silicone tools to apply this stuff in with. No, don't roll away. Sorry guys, my tools are trying to run away from me. So, what on earth? What got in that mold? Okay. Which one are we starting with? I think we'll go ahead and start with the polygel. And I think we're going to use this mold first because I'm curious on this particular mold. So when working with polygel, you want on molds, you want to make sure that you have some isopropyl alcohol on hand, which I do. I have it in my nice little dampened dish here with the lid. And I'm going to go ahead and get myself one of my brushes, one of my polygel brushes. And there's my polygel. So you want to make sure, the most important thing in this is you want to make sure that you're filling in all of your the entire mold. You want to make sure that you're filling in all of the ridges, and then it's getting into all of the areas inside of there. So stay in there. Off of the spatula. Now, polygel is a little bit harder to do this with because it is so like sticky. Like very, very, very sticky. Clean the spatula off. Where is Is it the one for the spatula? No, that's not. Where's the one for the spatula? There it is. Go in with the brush. I'm going to work at making sure all of the polygel is in the mold. I did not get enough alcohol on my brush, so now it's sticking to my brush. Now, if you're going to use polygel, you might not want to use a super pigmented colored polygel on a deeper mold because it is likely to not cure all the way. And same with gel polish. If you're using gel polish, do thin layers at a time, and I will show you that in a moment. But level it out. Get as much of, I may have to trim off some edges, but get as much of the polygel off the surface as you can. And pop it in the lamp. I really do need to get more acrylics from Glam and Glitz. They have some really nice acrylics. Oh, I thought I got all the hot glue off my desk. Apparently I did not. So I was trying to make some decorations for a clear acrylic bird feeder that suction cups to windows that we'd gotten for the front of our house. Our house came with like a really big bay window in the den area, and we wanted to put a new bird feeder out there. So we got one that suction cups to the window. Okay, let me paper towel. Okay, so I'm going to clear the tacky layer off of this before I pull this out. Clean this up. Okay, so then we're going to gently remove this from the mold, like so. Now, what we would do now, because there's a little bit around the edges because we used a polygel and those things don't like to work nicely. We're going to go in with some nippers, and we're going to nip around the edges where it's went over on the mold to clean it up. And there we have a nice flower. Now, I can go in and paint this and have it whatever color I want and then seal it, and then I would have a nice little rose charm that I could add to a nail. This one's pretty big, but some people like big charms. And clean my mold. It is important that you clean your molds when you're done using them. It's another thing that will help the longevity of them, is making sure that they don't have residual product that's eating away at them, like monomer or things like that. So, clean the mold. What did I just drop? What did I just drop? Oh, okay. Trash. Cool. That'll be alright. So the next one I'm going to go in with is the Solid Hard Gel. And ooh, it's stuck to the lid. Haha! We're good. We're good. And this mold actually came with these. And it's the same theory as you want to make sure that you press the product into the mold. Into all of the recesses of the mold. So this is a good one to have silicone tools with. This is too soft of a silicone tool. I need a more firm one. Okay. Make sure that it's pressed into all of the details and recesses of the mold. So that way you're getting a proper charm. I'm going to flip it over, and there's some spots that don't look like it has been filled. This stuff does seem like it's a little harder to fill deeper ones with in its own way, but we will see. Flatten this out some. Hopefully it's in all of the mold. We're about to find out. So we have, there's a spot in the mold right here that I'm not sure if it's in it. That's what it boils down to. That's what I'm not sure about. I'm gonna press it down in as much as I can. It's a pretty color. And we're going to cure it for 60 seconds. That'd be a good one to try it on too. Okay. Do you like the new bird feeder, Mr. Peaches? Is you waiting for birds? I know, my sweet little Peachy. Okay, so this doesn't really have a tacky layer to work with. You just pull it out. Well, that worked out really well. You would need to trim around the edges just like on the other one. Okay. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to go in and we're going to trim around the edges. And of course you can take a nail file to it as well. This stuff is more solid and a little harder to nip because it's thicker. It's harder to get it as thin as what you do the polygel on the excess. Well, I'll find that later when I vacuum. So I gotta do that too. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a file around it. Maybe. I'll be taking a file to the edges of that. I will have to move my camera stand ever so slightly to get in that drawer. Sorry about that, guys. I couldn't get into the drawer I needed. There. Okay. So with this one, because it was thicker, I would need to go in ever so slightly so I don't have sharp spots at the bottom. And just soften those edges up. The nail file. So it's a rough. And then I have this nice, cute little pearlescent rose that I can add more to give it a little bit more dimension. I can add a polish to it. Okay, so that is with the solid gel. And let's see here. Do the purple maybe? I don't think I've opened the purple yet. Nope. I haven't even opened the purple yet. Okay. So this stuff is what's called carving gel or sculpting gel, and it's kind of like solid gel, but it's a little different. It's like the consistency of Play-Doh, and it's a really weird consistency. It is most certainly different. It is not meant to be like a builder gel, so do not try to use it to make extensions, please, because it is not the same thing as solid hard gel where you can make an extension with it. It is too soft of a product for that. Even though it seems like it's that kind of product, it's not. It's very, very soft. It will not work in that manner. But it's the consistency of Play-Doh, and you can just push it in to the mold. And I'm sure you can tell by how much flatter this is getting into the mold, how much nicer it's getting into the mold. This is one of the best things to use if you're making charms with the molds, because it fills the molds really well, and it cures rather well as well. I'm going to go ahead and wipe ever so slightly with isopropyl alcohol on the back before curing. And then I'm going to pop that in the lamp. So this stuff is great. There's other brands, not just this. This is just one that I got from Amazon. But this stuff is great for, cool, bottom fell off for a second there. Great for this kind of stuff. It is meant to make 3D nail art directly on the nail or to use to make charms in this manner. And I will one day probably do a video on sculpting directly on the nails with this type of stuff as well. But I'm going to pop this in the lamp for 60 seconds. And yeah, no, this stuff is great for nail art, and that's what it's meant for 3D charms and things like that. I'm going to put that back in its respective container, so to speak. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that, but I'll have to clean that. Going to have to clean that. Okay, put that away. Oh no, come back. Alright, where is my monitor? Okay, there's mine. There it is. Okay. So, because I was able to get this so smooth before curing it, it shouldn't need any trimming or anything. Nope. Didn't need any trimming whatsoever. Look how nice that came out. Ultimately, that's what you want to try to get when you're using any of these products in a mold. The goal is to not have to do any filing or nipping, but generally you will have to do a little bit of that. But this stuff works great for it, and you can add more colors with gel paint and things like that. So that brings me up to the next one, acrylic. So acrylic, you're on the restriction of the time limit of it curing itself. So there's a little bit more finesse to that, I guess is what I'm looking for on this. So we're going to go in. Oh, dang. We had some flyaways on the brush that happened recently, I guess. Fixed your brush. Okay. So, you want to go in with your bead, and you want to try to make sure that you're dabbing it in there, making sure that all of those recesses are filled. Because there's no pushing it in afterwards, after it's cured, and it's curing as you are filling it. So you want to make sure that it is already filled in that area before you pile anything more onto it. And then you need to wait for it to finish curing and drying before you can pop it out of the mold. Anymore, I just use carved gel or regular like gel paints when I'm making nail charms in these molds. That's just what's easiest for me. Everybody's different on what they have and what's easier for them, and so on and so forth. And I apologize if you can hear the rain. I imagine you guys can. unfortunately. Okay, so I'm cleaning up around the edges to the best of my ability here. Trying to give myself a little work later and also help the longevity of my molds. So I'm going to set that aside and let that cure, and I'm going to go grab a different mold to show with gel polish / paints. That would be the same theory. Just put my paintbrush up, get my monomer up. My sinuses are a bit wonky because of said rain. We've had a lot of rain the last few days, so I apologize. I probably sound pretty rough. I've got all this sniffly going on. It's the weather, guys, and we are having extreme pollen as we do every year. This is just a bad time of year for me generally because of all the freaking pollen and rain and things like that. Okay, so I like this one, but I like some of the other ones for this too. What do I want to use? Ooh, that monomer's pungent. I mean, I could do that one. It's a relatively thin one. So when working with gel polish or gel paints, thicker ones, generally what you would be doing is you would be going in with a very thin layer of color, and then you would go in with a clear hard gel or polygel or something like that, or just a clear base gel, something that can get hard enough but not have problems curing in any way. For thinner ones, you just do a few layers of gel. I could make a little daisy. It wouldn't be too terribly hard to do. It's a sunflower. That rain is really coming down. The little cherry blossoms. This is a hard one to choose from, guys. And then, of course, I got my food molds. And I want my butterfly. I'm over here looking at all these different stuff, and I think I'm going to use my butterfly mold. I'll just dump the whole bag. Okay, where is it? Because I just saw that stinking thing. There it is. There's my butterfly mold. Okay, so the one that I had to replace was actually this one. The one that I accidentally ruined. It was this mold. This is the replacement one, but it has like starfish and seashells and things like that. So it took a long time to find this mold again, and I'm glad that I did, but I definitely don't want to go through that again. So I generally stick with gel because of that, because it was so hard to find a new one. And that was one of the problems I ran into. Nope, too soft still. So when it comes to acrylic, prepare for this to take a while. That is still soft. That is still curing. So, okay, so I've got my butterfly mold. And let's do a blue. Let's do a blue. Kind of like the idea of a blue butterfly. A pretty blue butterfly. Yeah. do that. And I think we'll do black with part of it as well. Blue and black. So jeez, that is really coming down, guys. It's really coming down. Like, surprisingly so. I wasn't anticipating this much rain. There goes my mowing the lawn this week before my brother-in-law comes into town. There goes that. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put my palette and my isopropyl alcohol. Put a little bit of black gel here. And a little bit of blue gel. Okay. So when you're using this method, you can actually pre-color however you want. And this is the method I generally use. If I'm going to be brutally honest, this is the method I generally use when making nail art charms. Now, it's not always the method I use, but it's generally the method I use. And this is the reason why. I can go in and pre-color the butterfly however I want, or whatever I'm doing, whether it be the seashells or whatever. I can pre-color them and not have to worry about the loss of details. I should have grabbed white and done that as white dots, black around the edges and blue in the middle, whatever. That'll work though. I'm going to go ahead and cure that. And you want to make sure that you are doing the full 60 seconds when you were working with the gel polish, because it's very easy for it to become under-cured and soft in the middle, in which case you would be wearing your charm and then all of a sudden it pokes a hole through and then it's everywhere. Uncured gel everywhere, the whole thing is ruined. You don't want that. I've been there, done that more times I could count with leaves, generally is what I end up doing that with. Yeah. And I will paint this lovely little flower when we're done doing this. And then I'm going to go in very thinly with the blue. And this allows you to like marble your colors if you want, and you can do so much more doing it this way. Alright, so I'm going to pop this in the lamp. We have this nice thin layer. We're going to need another layer after this, but I'm going to pop this in the lamp. And 60 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and paint this. Sorry, I didn't mean to be out of camera for that. This is going to be the hard part, is actually painting this and then getting it in the lamp. Because I don't have it on like any kind of stand. So generally how I do it is I do it in like sections. Now, that one is done, so we will swap her out. Don't you start with me. I know, I triggered your sensor. I'm sorry. And then we're going to go in with another layer. Well, my husband's just going to have to deal with the fact that we will not have the lawn mowed and nice and freshly cut for when his brother gets here. And the goal is to get it up level with the top of the mold. But you want to make sure that every layer you add in is completely cured. And that you do thin layers. So the thicker the mold, the deeper the mold, the more layers you will need to apply if you're doing the gel polish method. That's why I said I would do just the color in and then do a clear of some sort. That is generally what I do for a thicker, a deeper mold recess. Thinner ones, I'll just do a bunch of thin layers of the gel color of choice. But deeper ones like these, I would do, especially like this one right here, I would do the color in a very thin layer, and then I would do a clear. And I can show you that as well. Let's work on this. Let's get that one going. 60 seconds. We'll continue to paint this puppy over here. Make it a nice colored rose. Come on. So I know I haven't really shown any nail art that has charms and stuff. I haven't been wearing charms lately because my hair is very thin and I have had a lot of hair loss over the last 10 years. And I used to have nice thick hair, and since I had all that hair loss, I have a hard time having charms on my hands if it starts catching my hair when I'm putting it in a ponytail or whatever. It starts causing like anxiety about it, and so I just kind of I haven't really done a whole lot with charms lately. And that's something that I hope to showcase a little more with my friends who do like to have some nail art charms and things like that. Okay, so this is the rose. I'm going to cure it again now that I filled it in some more. So I do hope to introduce more nail art with my friends for charms wise, because I would like to be able to showcase that for you guys. But preferably without stressing myself out. And I do still wear some on my own hands every now and then, but they don't last long because I start getting stressed out and then I yank them off. So I take the nippers and I yank them off and I'm like, I'm done. I can't. I get too stressed out. So I just don't do it. And for that purpose. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and, I need the isopropyl alcohol. What am I doing? I need to wipe the taculator off before I pull that out. Otherwise it's going to be a lot harder to do. Okay, so another reason why I like using gel polish quite often is instead of the harder stuff when making these nail art charms is they're more flexible. Come on, focus. They're more flexible. So you can actually flex it to the shape of the nail. Or in the case of this butterfly, you could turn it up like it's flapping its wings, and it's like this, and take some hard gel over the top to make it solidify in that shape, and have an actual fluttering butterfly. Like so. So there's a lot of versatility when doing that. This isn't my best example of the actual like colors, because I should have done white dots and done black with the blue and gotten into more in depth with it, but it's still pretty. It's, tweezers, I'm having a hard time holding on to this. Way to go, Mary, you took the wrong end off. Cool. Here we go. So, with that being said, like there's a lot of versatility with this. What on earth is on my tweezers? Oh, it's glue. Gotcha. From when I was arguing with that. Okay. You're sticking to me. Okay, so I'm going to take my isopropyl alcohol and clean up the taculator on this. So I have a nice little blue rose. That's what I would do with the polygel ones when I use a clear polygel. So the deeper recessed molds. Here's a very good example. One I've done plenty of times. This is my goldfish mold. So let's make some goldfish. Let's go ahead and make some goldfish while we're at it. Why not? Okay, I'm going to keep the black out, but do I want to use my stamping gel? It's a little bit more pigmented over black. It's a little thicker too. What colors do I have? The yellow is not what I'm after. It's white, it's green. I need to swatch these on dots and deal with it. There's my black. Where's my white? Ah! That's gold. There's no white. The things I need to do. There's my orange. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and get my gel. That is more than I wanted. I am shaking these up because the last time I did a video with these, I could tell that they were separated and I was having more problems than usual with them. So I am going to shake it up before I go into these. And I need to clean that particular mold before, because it's got some hair and stuff all over it. I'm not sure how it got there, but it got there. So I need more isopropyl alcohol. I need to clean up that mold of all that fuzz. Okay. So I'm going to go in with the black gel. I just messed up that eyeball. Cool. Let's try that again. So let's go in. And refine that eyeball. So I'm taking isopropyl alcohol to clean up the area that I don't want that in. Okay. So now I'm going to go back and do the other eyeball. That's all I wanted for the black. I'm going to go ahead and cure that. Okay, is this ready? Okay, it is. So I'm going to back this up for you guys. This is ready, and this is how I know. You hear that click? I'm going to very gently separate it from the mold. It's nice and clean in there, and that's important. And that is how I got this nice, lovely black rose acrylic nail charm. So, like I said, as long as you make sure that you're not using homemade acrylics that are made with like, what is it called? Eyeshadows and things like that, then you're going to be fine. You just want to make sure that you're using pre-made, like legitimate pre-made, good company colored acrylics if you're using acrylic in your mold, because colored acrylics that are homemade can sometimes have extra additives like oils and stuff that would not do well for your molds. So be careful when doing that. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the orange and I'm going to dot that in random locations very thinly. Because I want a orange and white goldfish. like a koi pond kind of thing. But you don't want it to be too thick, because if you go in too thick with it, then it will not cure properly and you will have problems later. So this is a deeper one. Okay. I'm going to cure the orange that I just applied in there. So one of my favorite things to do, which I sadly don't have any right now, I need to buy some, is Builder in a bottle. For filling in it, but today, because I don't have any Builder in a bottle, I'm just going to use some base coat. It will make it a little softer and easier to, it'd be a little more malleable and easier to apply, but the whole premise of this is that it would give it a more solid, more durable finish if I had used Builder in a bottle, but like I said, I don't have any right now. I generally use Beetles brand Builder in a bottle. If you guys want to know what brand I generally use. Okay, so I'm going to go in very thinly with the white now. Making all these charms, and I'm going to figure out where I'm going to store them. Because normally I make them as I do the mani, not pre-make and store charms. You know what, that is something I do need to be doing a little bit more of, is pre-making and storing charms, since I do other people's nails too, to save myself some time. But I love the customizability of custom to the mani when I make nail charms. So, and me overlapping the orange with the white isn't going to hurt anything. If anything, it's going to brighten the orange, and that's kind of what I'm doing here, is I'm trying to make sure that this color scheme works exactly the way I want it to, and brighten it up by doing this. That's why I did the orange first, because oranges, reds, yellows, and neons all really like to have a white base, because I don't know why really, but because it just brightens them. They're so much brighter when you do that. And see, this is what it looks like so far. And that's what it'll look like, but in full 3D once I pull it out of the lamp with the filling in, and not just a shell. Because right now it's just a shell. I have to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do with this butterfly and all those other charms. That is cute. I could have done better, but that is cute. I do like that. But yes, you can add like highlights and details to these as well. You don't have to leave them plain. And you know, you can if you want to, but that's not necessary. You can add details. Oh, sorry. My neck was stiff. I tried to stretch it, and I imagine you guys heard that popping. My body's in fits right now, but it's that time, so I'm not surprised it's in fits. So now I'm just going to go ahead and go in with some base gel and fill in the rest of the mold with the clear base gel. There is a encapsulated mani that I would love to do with these goldfish. And I may see if I can get my friend Brittany over for that. Let's see if she wants to have the mani that I have an idea for. Because there's one that I've been wanting to try, and I have not had the time to do it from myself because I have so many and exchanging that kind of mani out for a different one, it would be exceptionally difficult. So having it put on somebody who doesn't have to worry about it changing practically weekly is where it's at. That's where it's at. Okay, so I shouldn't need this. We're gonna put that away. I need to buy both toenail nippers and regular cuticle nippers. Okay, so now that it's cured, I need to go in and clean the tacky layer off, and then we can pop her out of the mold. Okay. Put the lid back on my alcohol. So here we go. Go ahead and we're going to pop it out. And then we have this cute little goldfish. And it has some flexibility because I used a base gel. So I can flex it a little bit. Oop, and I accidentally snapped it. So careful when flexing, obviously. You can't flex it too much, but I accidentally snapped my goldfish. So you can flex it a little bit, but not a lot. So I did snap my goldfish because it's a fragile little thing. That's unfortunate. I liked that goldfish. Oh well. But that's another reason why I generally say please use a hard gel to fill it. Base gel is just not as durable. It gives it some flexibility, sure, but hard gel works better. And unless you're using, like in this case, where it's literally just full gel polish, it's not going to snap. It's flexible. The base coat's not flexible enough to allow it to not just snap. So, I'm trying to make sure that I covered all the bases. I think I did. Those are the ways in which you can make, using the nail art molds, the 3D Charm nail art molds, those are different ways in which you can use them to make nail art charms. And I do believe that covers that. I do have an announcement for you guys to look out for. we are trying a new brand. I have a haul coming in from Varnell. I don't know when it's going to come in yet because it hasn't hit the US. And the only tracking information I have is from the US PS tracking. They didn't do both, they only just did one because they have separate tracking in their own country. So it's a big one, and we're gonna have quite a few videos on it because it's gonna have to be an unboxing and then trying the gel polishes and then trying the molds. There is a nail art mold that's not quite the same as these. It's thinner, and I actually do have a couple kind of like it. Let's see if I can find it. That's not it. Put it in here. So I have a couple that are like it, but not many. They're a little thicker by the looks of it, with the exception of maybe this one, this lace one. So I've been getting ads on it for a while, and I showed my husband and he got excited about it too. He's like, that's really cool. Like, how much are those? And how much is free shipping? And we kind of got carried away. We probably should have spent a little less, but it's a very thinly, and it's kind of like the butterfly one even. It's very thin like this, and its method is kind of like stamping from what I understand. You apply the gel polish, you scrape, then you apply a special type of base coat that they have very thinly, and it's very flexible, and it's like a nail sticker that's 3D. So I'm curious to see how it goes, and I'm really looking forward to trying it, and it will be its own separate video. Another one that's a good example of like the thinness, but it's not really meant to be used like that, is like I've got the alphabet molds. I've got this isn't lace, it's hard to tell. It's Christmas lights. So if I flip it, if you can see it a little easier, it's Christmas lights. So and like here's one that it's hearts that are real thin, but it's not meant to be used in that particular manner. I probably could make it work to an extent on that kind of mold, the really thin ones, and like here's another example, the crowns. So, but all of their molds are like that. They don't have for this particular method, they don't have like super deep ones. Like this is a deep one. This is a deep one with bows. They have thinner ones with bows, that kind of thing. So with that being said, yeah, this is one that came with my really, really solid gel. This is one that came with that. So I'm excited. We caught the reason why we got kind of carried away is we caught them on a really big sale, and I don't know if it's still available. We even got a free, because we spent enough, we got a free 6-piece random gel polish set, and they had all sorts of special effect gel polishes, and I got all sorts of different ones, and I'm kind of hoping I get a one that I don't already have. So I am really excited, and you guys may see the video I don't think you guys will, to be honest. I don't think you guys will. I don't think I'll have an upload on the actual, I'll probably have an upload on the unboxing, but not on the other stuff before this video is launched. Now that I think about it. I anticipate this taking some time getting here, because it is coming from overseas, and anything coming from overseas tends to take a little while. So, and it took them 2 days to actually get it all boxed up. There was so much stuff. So this is it's going to be big. It's a big haul. And like I said, it was a really big sale, so I got a lot for way less, way less than what you would normally spend. So I am very excited for that. So I do believe that covers everything, and I don't think I have anything else. I think that's all of it. So we will go into our lovely outro. I hope that this was a helpful demonstration for you guys on how to make 3D charms with nail art molds. And for any of you wondering where I got my nail art molds of that variety, I got them on Amazon. There's many different brands, and they generally come in bundles, and they're not too terribly expensive. And they're pretty good. They are quite helpful, especially if you are not versed in sculpting your own 3D charms. I can, but I can't work with my left hand to save my life when it comes to that kind of thing. In fact, I don't know how I put extensions on my right hand. I don't know how I do it because working with my left hand is a nightmare. So, I like the molds for that purpose. Now, if I'm working on somebody else, I generally would hand sculpt it because I'm not having to work with my left hand. But some people just cannot hand sculpt, and these are great for those who cannot hand sculpt. So I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I hope this helps somebody who struggles with that and would like to have that. And like I said, there's many different ways you can do it. There's many different products that you can use with them. They are quite versatile. And yeah, no, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. And for those of you who like this video and want to help support the channel, please give a like and a comment. It helps get my videos into the algorithm. If this is not your first time on my channel and it's not the first video you like, please go ahead and give a subscribe. It's not hurting you to click a button, and it helps me get that much closer to ad revenue and help get me funding for stuff that goes quickly, like base coat, top coat, cotton balls, cotton pads, paper towels, acetone, things that go very quickly that costs money and adds up rather quick. You'd be surprised how quickly that stuff adds up. So that would be a big help for the channel and for those of you, and of course, if you want a direct monetary help that also helps you and you want to order from Maniology, I have a 10% discount code that will get you 10% off of everything except for their MXM plates and their MXM subscription itself, and I get a small kickback. And that will be in the description below, along with my Instagram. And for those of you who have already been doing all of those things, thank you so much. You guys have been a big help, and I appreciate all of you greatly. And it does lift my spirits when I see all of the support from you guys that have been with me practically from the beginning and help supporting the channel. It helps make my day. It really does, to see, you know, how I've managed to help you guys out and to see you guys enjoying my content. It's a good feeling to know that I've helped somebody else, and there are days where the struggles of being a mother of special needs kids, where it helps a lot to know that I'm making somebody else happy, and I'm not just struggling with my kids and you know, trying to make it through. It's a hard process, and sometimes I just kind of need that pick me up of you helped me, to feel good that I actually did something nice and something that feels nice, and not like I'm failing at everything because, well, I'm a mom, and that's just being a mom. That's just being a mom, and I know that's just being a mom. And I shout out to my grandmother who went through the same struggles as I am now, and has been so supportive, and it's hard. It is very hard to be a parent, and having special needs kids does not make it any easier at all. Every day is a roller coaster, and I don't know whether or not I'm going to have the up or the down. and it's rough, guys. It is. So for those of you who have been sticking by my side through all of this on the channel and let me know how much I've managed to help you, it gives me that feel good I need to get through the day sometimes. So I appreciate you guys so much. I can't even begin to explain how much I appreciate you guys that have helped support my channel, and letting me know, giving me feedback on what you guys enjoy, and that is it's big to me. That makes me feel like I am doing something good, and I definitely need that sometimes when I'm battling with my 8-year-old, or when I'm struggling to teach my 5-year-old who is nonverbal autistic, and it's a struggle. It is a big struggle. I definitely appreciate you all more than you guys could ever know. I appreciate you all. It's a big deal, and I will continue to keep making content for you guys, and I will do my best to keep giving you information that helps. Like I've mentioned before, I have been at this for about 10 years. Really, it's probably about 9, but it's close to 10. I started before my 8-year-old was born. And I had a moment where we didn't have the money for me to work on it. So it was like a year break. And then I went back to it, and I slowly built my collection and practiced and researched, and I have dedicated pretty much the last decade of my life to learning this, in between taking care of my home, my kids, and being there for my husband and supporting him through all of the struggles that we've had in life, that life has thrown at us. So this is something I have dedicated basically all of my spare time to. And my kids are first and foremost. So don't take this the wrong way. I don't prioritize this over my children. I dedicate the bulk of my time to my kids. And they are the first and foremost priority of my life. And there have been a couple times where my prioritizing towards them almost made it so where I couldn't release videos on time, but I have always somehow found time to release videos for you guys amongst the chaos. So that's one thing that I have been doing my best, is to make sure that I at least keep a Tuesday and a Thursday video for you guys, and that I keep my promise of the unboxing and of the MXM box every month, one Manny inspiration video from it and swatch comparisons from it. And of course, when you guys give a request, I do my best to make sure that I can get that done. I can't always do it right away, but I do try to make sure that I do that. There's still a few on my list that I need to do. One of which I'm waiting for my nails to grow out a little more on the natural side before I do so, since those nasty breaks on both my pinkies. So I will get to those, I promise. It's just finding the time is not easy. And finding the money in some cases is not easy. So I greatly appreciate you guys, and I hope that you all are having a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whatever it may be, wherever you are at while you are watching this video. And until next time, guys, thank you all for watching. Bye.